Good morning, everybody. Sean here from the Trusted Business Community Association. And today I'm joined by another Sean, but his name is Sean Billings. Sean Billings is the business director at Syrinx Systems Ltd, and he's a Premier Partner here at the association. He helps business owners improve their productivity so that they can get the stuff done that they really need to get done. He enjoys life. He's a troubleshooter. He works with marketers and designers of WordPress websites, coding and developing IT systems, and saving time and money for those that use his services. Sean Billings, lovely to have you with me.
Good morning. Thank you, Sean. It's lovely to be here.
Excellent. Now, obviously, people listening in are going to want to know Syrinx Systems. What all about it? What do you do? How do you help people? How do you give people that into increase their life enjoyment, as well as obviously getting their things done? All the things that you help small business owners and obviously medium-sized business owners get to their ideal place where they want to be. Now, my first question to you is, if I may, is obviously you're a specialist in your field. You're a Premier Partner here. What got you into what you do?
Yeah. I mean, the thing that got me into what I do, and it's still a thing that I love doing as well. They always say that thing about do what you love. Is when I first came across computing, and you can imagine it was this 11-year-old boy. If you can imagine me 11 years old, it was a long time ago, but I got this computer. I didn't know what you could do with it. I just knew I wanted one, badgered my parents to get one. They got me one. And then I sat there staring at the screen and thinking, well, what do you do with it? But luckily it came with a lovely book that taught you how to actually code it. I mean, back in them days, the instruction manual actually had some instructions in it. And it taught me how to code. And then I realized that this computer could help me, even as I was going through school. It could actually help me get through and actually do stuff. And I realized that it was a good learning tool, and also it was, I could save time with it. And as I went through progressing through computers and what they could do, and obviously the computer technology got a lot better. We moved from tape storage to disk storage and hard disks, and I realized that actually this is fundamentally a time saver. And that is still what I do today. I'm all about saving people time. Okay, now whether that's time being stressed because something isn't working, because what I learned from that, with that 11-year-old boy learned, was if you spent long enough looking and working out something, and it was going back even before I was 11-year-old boy, I was really intrigued to how stuff worked. How stuff works for my brain type was really important. And to find that out, I had to take it apart.
Right.
Okay. So I had a big pile of toys, if you like, when I was a young kid that were all broken because I took them apart to find out how they worked. Didn't know necessarily at that age how to put them back together again. So there was a bit of a graveyard of stuff that I broke, but I learned so much, and I still do that today. When I take stuff apart, it might not be physically anymore, although I still do that, but it could be a system, it could be the way something works, it could be a business process. So someone's doing X, Y, or A, B, and C to achieve D, and I'm looking at the A, B, and C and saying, well, A, why are you doing that as a human being when these machines can do all that stuff for you?
Yeah.
And I'm always a big thing of why do that boring, repetitive stuff if you can get your machine to do it?
Yeah. Automation, basically creating the automated processes.
Yeah, but it's learning how the system worked in the first place to break it down, and going on from there, I became a software developer effectively. So I was really into that sort of programming and building stuff from code and how things worked, behind the scenes and what the machine was really doing. And one of the essential tools, I always say I can teach anybody how to code, I can teach anyone how to program, but the actual real skill set isn't that part. I mean, you can go off now and get AI to generate your code, which is fine. The actual skilled parts of a software developer are actually a bit more nuanced than that. There's troubleshooting, and there's obviously working out what the human actually really wants and getting the machine to do it. Those sort of two things, I don't think AI are there yet. Troubleshooting it just basically, it will just keep spitting stuff out until you tell it it works. Well, that's not really troubleshooting. That's not fixing anything. That's just sort of, will this work? Will this work? Will this work? And then there's the bit where you might think you know what you want, and you might be able to think that you put that in words and get and told AI, this is what I want to produce. But actually, as a software developer, extracting really what the person wants is actually far more detailed. It's never what they think they want. You know, yeah, yes, I want a machine to do my accounts. Yeah, I want a piece of software to do my accounts. Yeah, brilliant. Okay. But actually, there's a lot more questions to ask other than just accounts. You know, if you ask, you know, an AI or a new developer, for example, that's just learned how to code, build me an accounts package, it's going to be a bit daunting, a bit sort of, well, you know, what do you want it to do?
Yeah.
So taking those sort of two skill sets, the troubleshooting and the, if you like, you know, interfacing between the humans and then actually saying, right, this is what they want it to do, and then make the machine doing it. The troubleshooting skill is something that I feel that I've got a real sort of a level up, if you like, than a lot of other people in my field, because I've been doing it so long. I don't even think about it, and you know, someone presents a problem, and I'm sort of pretty much somehow something goes off in my head. I know where I need to start looking, and I also know a procedure set that I can follow to ask the right questions to get to the actual root of the problem. And that's when I sort of came across the idea of doing the troubleshooting for people that run WordPress websites. Because a lot of times, you know, WordPress is brilliant because you can click a few buttons. There's zero cost to actually moving into, you know, often to setting it up. And you can click a few buttons. You can create a beautiful website, even if you've never created a website before, you know, now. Put a load of plugins and stuff and make it all functional. You can have a shop. You can do all of this stuff. And normally when you're doing all that, everything works. You're fine. You go off, and then you might come back a couple of months later and you get all these little red circles telling you need to update stuff. So they'll click all the little updates so that they get rid of their little notifications. And then all of a sudden it stopped working. You know, something's gone. And it's what do you do at that stage? Yes, you go and Google it, and a lot of people might well solve that problem there, but that could be 2 or 3 hours of going through trying stuff. And it's also, if it's not your core business, it might be a bit stressful. You just spent 3 hours doing this where you should be out, you know, working on your business or
Doing something
working.
else. Yeah, 100%,
Yeah,
mate. 100%. I get that. I often break my the back office of my my WordPress website, and then scratch my head and think, I need to pass it over to somebody who knows. So Syrinx Systems Limited. Obviously, you talked about coding. You talked about supporting websites. Give us a little bit more information on where Syrinx fits into all this knowledge that you built from the tender age of 11-year-old, taking things to pieces, working out hopefully to put them back together, and obviously give us a little bit more about what Syrinx Systems does as a support mechanism to the small and the medium-sized business world.
sure. So for the small businesses, the core thing that I do, I mean, there's sort of 2 or 3 arms to my business. The WordPress support is one arm of the business. And the way I support website owners is I take away the burden of doing the updates and looking after it. I do all of that for them. I make sure that I take what I call an offsite backup of it regularly, because what I found over the years, you know, part of my experience is, yes, your host may offer you a backup service and they say they're doing it for you, but then you say, oh, I need to roll this back. I need those files. And then all of a sudden you find it's actually really hard to get to that. They might just do a blanket. Some hosts do a blanket. You can roll the whole site back, but you might not want to do that because you could lose a month's worth of content you've just put on there. you might just want to roll a plugin back, or you might just want to have a look at the files, not actually restore it. Do you know what I mean? And there's all these little things that frustrate me as a tech support person that you want to get done. So I take a backup, and the good thing about that backup is I've got it physically, and I can put it on a CD if you wanted, or I can put it up in the cloud for you to download. Because although, so say, oh yeah, the chances of such and such host disappearing and no longer being in business might seem like an unlikely event, over the last 20 years, we've seen it happen. We've seen some very big players crop up and then they're gone, you know.
100%.
And if you haven't got that backup that you can hold, if you're relying on their backup, well, if they're gone, you're not going to get that either.
No, no, very true.
So the backup is a very important tool, and one of the things that I'd always, whether you get me involved or not, make sure you take backups.
Good tip.
Yeah.
Very, very good tip.
Yeah.
I know that an experience that I had recently where my website is being hosted. The guys who host my website doing a grand job, absolutely fantastic job. But the company where that was doing the hosting for them was no more, and they had to move everything over. Now, when they moved everything over, a significant amount of data didn't go with it. So we had to go backwards to come forwards, and thankfully we sorted it out. But initially, when I looked at it, I went, oh, "Where's all that lot gone? Why is that not on there?" So yeah, I hear what you're saying and how important it is to obviously take those backups. So yeah, brilliant, a golden nugget of advice there.
Yeah, and another thing that I find, and it's probably more common than I'd want it to be, is I get small business owners come to me and they've had a website built by somebody. Sometimes it's a friend of a friend, or it's a workmate, or sometimes it is actually someone that's set themselves as a business. But then they've moved on, they've changed, and they've decided that doing that no longer interested. But whatever's happened, they've gone. They're no longer doing it. And then this business owner is then stuck with a website, and they don't know where it's hosted, who's paying for it, how they get control back of it. Because for me, it's important that the business owner has control of it, not me, not another designer, not a hosting organizer. You should own, you should be able to control your domain name, you should be able to control your hosting, and you should be able to control your website. Yeah. And ultimately you should be paying all the bills for those and not paying indirectly by someone else. So that way it's yours. You can control it, and you can switch and move it and change and do all the things that you need to be able to do, because but that happens a lot. And often what I've found is, one of the things, again, where I probably differ to some other developers, is if someone comes to me and they've got an existing body of work, an existing site, they might have might have some bespoke developments, bespoke themes, and bespoke plugins and things like that built for them by this developer that's now disappeared, ghosted, or what have you. If you take that to a lot of developers, they'll rather scrap it and start again. Yeah. I see that so much in the industry. Oh yeah, no, we want to build the better mousetrap. We want to do, whereas I actually get a kick out of taking legacy stuff and actually keeping it working. So I've taken that. So it's not just your websites that I might help, keep them working, build them, and then develop them on and bring them up to date. I also do the same for some industries where they've had some software developed, business software running on their internal networks or however they got. And although they might have, they've got the intellectual property and they've got the source code, their developer again has gone, la la la, off they go. They don't, or a lot of us are getting to that age, they've retired. Some developers are retired, and and what do you do? What do they do? And that's where I can step in and say, no, you don't have to scrap it. You don't have to start again. You don't have to relearn that. You don't have to waste everything you've done up to now. What I'll do is I will make as seamless as possible migration from your previous developer to me. And again, I want you to keep control, because I want people to use me because they want to use me, not because I've trapped them into some contract or trap them because I'm the only one that knows how it, have the source code, or however, I'd rather people use me because they want to use me, because I've found in business that means people will actually pay you. If you trap people, they're less likely to pay you and what have you. And it's sort of like, what's the point? Work with people you want to work with.
Yeah, 100%.
So,
yeah. No, good. Some
yeah.
good tips and some good advice there as well, and some good understanding of the industry as well. To be fair, and I know people who have been in that scenario, and I'm sure that there's a fair few business owners out there that can resonate with what you've just said. Looking at the where you are, who you are, where you're based, can you give those listening in a little bit more of how and where to find you if should they want to take up a call with you, and find out a little bit more of how you can assist them moving forward? Where do you hang out? What's your hangout spots? On socials, websites. Where is it that you can be found by those professionals listening in who want to have a further conversation with you about what you can do for them?
Yeah, so I can be found obviously my website. I don't know if that will come up on the screen there, but it's Syrinx Systems.co.uk, and you just stick Sean at the front of that if you want to email me direct. I should be easily findable on LinkedIn. I am probably on some of the other social medias, but to be honest with you, I'm not a big social media person. But I'm obviously at the TTBCA networking on most Thursdays, so catch me there. And that way you can actually have a proper chat with me, or just as I say, you can email me or contact me via my website, because I like to have at least a face-to-face chat via Zoom or something like that, just to get to know what your concerns and what your problems are, and to make sure I'm the right fit before we move any further anyway. So
yeah, 100%. Yeah, no, great. Thank you for that. And you can also find Sean on the Trusted Business Community directory at trustedbusinesscommunity.com, where if you type in, obviously, business support, and/or go under the Premier Partner, look out for the Premier Partner arena, you'll find him easier to find if you search him as a Premier Partner. Sean, it's been an absolute awesome pleasure to have a chat with you and get to know a little bit more about the awesome support that you give to small business owners just like ourselves. Yeah, there's lots of us out there, and there's an awful lot of people out there just like me who know what they're doing at the sharp end of their business, but really do need a little bit of help and guidance when it comes to the technology aspect of the business. So knowing what you do and knowing how you can help, and as I say, being a Premier Partner here at the association, we can certainly endorse you as somebody that, as a go-to business expert in their sector. For those listening in, please don't forget to like and subscribe below. Make sure that you click the like for Sean as well, so more people will see this video, and also subscribe so you can catch up with all the other interviews that we're doing and those that we've already done. We're always bringing you trusted, vetted and verified businesses in front of you through our YouTube channel. Like Sean, he's gone through a vetting process. He's become a Premier Partner of ours, and we can endorse his level of service standard to you as an accredited member. That accreditation that he's got speaks volumes for the end user experience that he offers. So as I say, like and subscribe below. Keep coming back for more for the other interviews, and I will look forward to obviously seeing Sean at the meetings that he mentioned, but also join him as well. Why don't you drop me a message or drop Sean a message of how to come along to one of the meetings where you guys can have a little bit more of an ongoing conversation. It's great to be with you today, Sean. Thanks for joining me. Until the next time, guys. Remember, we're here and we're always going to be bringing you more trusted professionals.
thank you, Sean.
Thanks so much, Sean.